The sight of Teldrassil reduced to ash and charred remains is a haunting reminder of loss and the destructive power of war. Once a towering symbol of hope, life, and the resilience of the Night Elves, it now lies in ruin, a smoldering husk that echoes the scars of battle. But to truly understand the significance of Teldrassil, we need to look back to its origins, its purpose, and the vital role it played in Azeroth's history. Let's start at the beginning. Teldrassil, meaning Crown of the Earth in Darnassian, was more than just an island. It was a colossal living monument, an immense world tree that rose high above Kalimdor's coast. Created shortly after the Third War by the Night Elves, it served as their homeland and a symbol of renewal after centuries of battle. Its vast branches stretched so high that their tips vanished into the clouds, and its expansive canopy housed the majestic city of Darnassus, along with other settlements like Ruthven Village and Shadowglen. The ecosystem thriving within the tree was diverse, supporting countless plants and animals, making it a vibrant, miniature world perched atop this titanic, arboreal marvel. As a world tree, Teldrassil was more than just a home. It was connected deeply to Azeroth's health. Its vitality was linked to the planet's balance, affecting forests, waters, and even the stability of the natural world across the continent. According to elders like Brawl Bearmantle, a healthy Teldrassil was essential for maintaining harmony between life and decay. Unlike its predecessor, Nordrassil, which was blessed at its inception by the dragon aspects, Teldrassil was initially unblessed, making it more vulnerable to the corruption of the Emerald Nightmare. Nonetheless, it received blessings from the dragon aspects Alexstrasza and Ysera before the Cataclysm, helping to purge lingering terror and restore its strength. For many years, Teldrassil stood as a bastion of Alliance power in Kalimdor. It was a hub for exploration, a sanctuary for the Night Elves, and a vital link to other regions through its naval connections. It was also a beacon for young Night Elves beginning their journeys into the wider world. Its significance made it a prime target. During the War of the Thorns, roughly a decade after its creation, the Horde launched a devastating attack, setting fire to the tree under Sylvanas Windrunner's orders. The flames consumed the once vibrant canopy in an inferno of destruction, killing many Night Elves and forcing survivors to flee, seeking refuge elsewhere. In the aftermath, the wounded and scattered Night Elves struggled to recover. The damage was not only physical, but spiritual, an assault on their very identity and connection to their homeland. Though signs of corruption from the Emerald Nightmare re-emerged, the elves discovered that remnants of the darkness were buried deep within Teldrassil itself. With the blessings of the dragon aspects, they managed to push the blight to the surface and destroy it, but the damage was done. Today, the charred remains of Teldrassil serve as a poignant symbol of both the fragility of life and the resilience required to rebuild. Though the tree may be fallen, its memory continues to inspire efforts to heal and renew the world it once represented. Darkshore, a region shrouded in an odd, pervasive mist, has long been a land of mystery and resilience. Its name aptly describes the thick fog that blankets the landscape, often making it seem foreboding and unwelcoming. The Night Elves heavily shunned Darkshore due to its treacherous terrain and frequent failures of settlement attempts. The only notable stronghold was Aberdeen, which served as a vital hub for the Night Elves and their allies. Once home to the twin cities of Ameth Aran and Bashal Aran, Darkshore's history is marked by tragedy, particularly during the War of the Ancients when these cities were destroyed. The region was also home to ancient beings like Moonkin and Wildkin who had dwelled there for centuries. During the Third War, Fandral Staghelm led druids to plant Teldrassil, a new world tree, symbolizing hope but also a new chapter of upheaval and change for Darkshore. The Cataclysm radically altered Darkshore, transforming its landscape into a shattered wasteland. The once relatively stable region was ravaged by natural disasters, gale winds, floods, fires, and storms, and Aberdeen was completely destroyed. The devastation was so severe that the zone was temporarily inaccessible, and many of its inhabitants went missing. The Night Elves, led by Malfurion Stormrage, worked tirelessly to contain the destruction, calling upon ancient powers to prevent the region from being swept away into the ocean. In the aftermath of the burning of Teldrassil, Darkshore transformed once again into a zone of struggle and sorrow. Under the shadow of Tyrandy Whisperwind's leadership, the region was plunged into perpetual darkness, symbolized by a lunar eclipse that empowered the Night Elves' efforts to defend their land. The incursion intensified as the Horde, under the guise of strategic expansion, pushed into Darkshore to attack Teldrassil's remnants. The battle saw fierce skirmishes at key locations like Wildbend River and Lower Denell, with the Horde establishing footholds and fortifications. Despite overwhelming odds, the Alliance managed to reclaim the region, with Bashal Eren serving as a strategic base of operations. The scars of the fighting remain, but Darkshore's landscape and its people continue to endure, embodying the resilient spirit of the Night Elves amid ongoing struggles. Thank you for... Nestled within the lush, untouched forests of northern Kalimdor lies Moonglade, a serene and sacred region revered by druids and nature worshippers alike. Characterized by its rolling hills, dotted with countless mounds, beneath which lie the sanctums of ancient druids, Moonglade is a sanctuary of vitality and spiritual harmony. Surrounded by towering mountains, this sanctuary remains isolated from the corruptions of the outside world, preserving its pristine condition and deep-rooted traditions. At the heart of Moonglade is Lake Elunara, a sacred body of water named after Elwynn, the moon goddess. Its tranquil waters reflect the sky and serve as a focal point of reverence and mystical power. The lake's central location makes it a spiritual nexus, with the Rift of Aln located beneath its surface, symbolizing the connection between the physical realm and the Emerald Dream, an ethereal realm of pure nature and dreams. Access to Moonglade is limited and carefully guarded. The only land route passes through the southwestern mountains via Timbermaw Hold, while travelers can also reach it by crossing the perilous Felwood zone or through various magical means such as teleportation and the Dreamwalk spell, only obtainable by druids. Moonglade serves as a neutral ground where druids of both factions, Night Elves and Tauren, coexist peacefully. It is the birthplace of the Cenarian Circle, an organization dedicated to the protection and worship of nature. Here, the spirits of the forest and the powerful demigod Omen at the lake's depths embody the realm's deep spiritual significance. Throughout history, Moonglade has been the site of crucial events, from the gathering of druids during the War of the Ancients to the fight against the Scourge during the Third War. Malfurion Stormrage, a legendary druid, and his allies sought aid and sanctuary during times of crisis. The region's sacredness was reaffirmed when the land remained uncorrupted even amidst the chaos of war. Recently, however, dark forces from the Emerald Nightmare have threatened its peace, shrouding parts of Moonglade in darkness and mist, and challenging its role as a bastion of balance. Despite these threats, Moonglade remains a symbol of harmony and resilience. Its flight points and mystical connections facilitate access for authorized travelers, ensuring that the druids and the natural world they serve can continue their vital work. Ultimately, Moonglade embodies the eternal cycle of nature, a sacred refuge where the spirits of the forest and the power of the moon converge to protect the balance of Azeroth. Winterspring, also known as Winterspring Valley, is a picturesque snowy region situated in northern Kalimdor, located east of Felwood, northeast of Mount Hyjal, and north of Azshara. The area is home to the goblin trading post of Everlook, remnants of old Night Elf ruins, and the vast Mazthril Cave, which serves as the primary habitat of the blue dragonflight on Kalimdor. The region's natural beauty is complemented by its abundant wildlife, including many wild creatures that roam freely across the snowy terrain. Winterspring was once a thriving home for many blue dragons. Thousands of years ago, the city of Teldrassil existed here, inhabited by the Highborn. These High Elves stole the powerful crystal of Zin Malor from the temple in Eldaroth, but their curiosity led to disaster. The crystal's destructive power shattered, cursing the Highborn and their city. Teldrassil was destroyed in the Great Sundering, and its ghostly remnants still linger in the region today. Centuries later, during the period leading up to the Cataclysm, a group of High Elves from Teldrassil ventured into Winterspring seeking the same crystal. Like their ancestors, they fell under its cursed influence, further intertwining Winterspring's history with arcane and tragic events. Various factions, including Thrall's Horde, remnants of the Alliance, the Scourge, Night Elves, and Satyrs, established camps in Winterspring. The area was also the site of the awakening of Druids of the Talon and the defeat of a death revenant who cursed a local glade, raising skeletons and ghosts that heroes vanquished. Throughout the history of Warcraft, Winterspring has faced invasions and threats from elemental forces, demons, and the Scourge. Prior to the invasion of Outland in the Burning Crusade, demons led by High Lord Cruel attacked the region. During Wrath of the Lich King, it was twice invaded by undead forces, reflecting its ongoing strategic importance. Today, Winterspring hosts bases for both the Steamweedle Cartel and Night Elves. While it lacks large instanced dungeons or battlegrounds, the area features several micro-dungeons that add to its rich lore and adventure opportunities. Overall, Winterspring remains a region steeped in history, mystery, and natural beauty. Felwood, in the universe of Warcraft, presents a compelling narrative of transformation and resilience. In both its classic and retail incarnations, Felwood's history is deeply intertwined with the lore of the Burning Legion's invasions and the efforts of the Druids to heal and reclaim the land. Originally, part of the lush northern forests of Ashenvale, Felwood was corrupted during the Third War when the demonic dreadlord Tichondrius employed the skull of Gul'dan to taint the environment, turning it into a shadowed wasteland filled with twisted wildlife, corrupted trents, and demonic satyrs. This process was driven by the Burning Legion's relentless push toward Mount Hyjal, aiming to weaken the defenses of the Night Elves and facilitate their invasion. Throughout its history, Felwood has been a battleground of forces, both dark and restorative. In Warcraft 3, the region's destruction was a direct consequence of the Legion's influence, with Illidan's Stormrage risking his life to retrieve the skull of Gul'dan and halt the spread of corruption. His actions, though effective in stopping the Legion's advance, led to his exile and a lasting scar on the land. In World of Warcraft's earlier days, players encountered a land scarred by shadow magic, with factions like the Emerald Circle working tirelessly to heal the damage. Over time, Efforts to restore Felwood have been ongoing, with various factions establishing outposts, cleansing parts of the forest, and battling the remnants of demonic influence, including satyrs and infernals. In the retail era, Felwood's history continues to evolve, reflecting ongoing efforts at restoration. The zone is now dotted with outposts of the Cenarian Circle, allied factions, and remnants of the demon summoning and corruption that once ravaged the land. There are signs of hope, such as the uncorrupted Whisperwind Grove and the efforts of characters like Greta Mosshoof and Odselba Rage Totem claim and heal Felwood. The zone's layered history, from a once pristine forest to a site of demonic devastation and ongoing recovery, exemplifies the enduring struggle between destruction and renewal that is central to Warcraft's storytelling. Mount Hyjal is a towering sacred mountain situated in northern Kalimdor, renowned for its significance in the lore of Warcraft. Its highest peak, Hyjal's summit, is the location of the legendary Well of Eternity and the World Tree, Nordrassil, both of which are central to the world's magic and history. Mount Hyjal was the original refuge of the wild gods, ancient deities embodying nature's raw power. Protected by the goddess Freya, the mountain remained a sacred site for the early night elves, who held it in reverence and avoided polluting its natural splendor. The mountain's deep caverns were once home to dark trolls, ancestors of the night elves, illustrating its long-standing importance across different civilizations. When Queen Azshara's forces destroyed the first Well of Eternity, Hyjal endured the resulting chaos known as the Great Sundering. The surviving Night Elves retreated to the summit, establishing a resilient community that later rebuilt their society, albeit without the arcane magic that had previously been central to their culture. Following the Sundering, the Night Elves created a new Well of Eternity atop Hyjal. To prevent its misuse, they planted the World Tree Nordrassil on top of it. This tree, blessed by dragon aspects, became a symbol of life and healing, spreading vitality across the land and granting the Night Elves increased longevity and immunity from disease. Mount Hyjal's significance was further emphasized during the Third War, when the demon Archimonde led a destructive assault on Nordrassil. The battle involved fierce fighting between orcs, humans, and night elves. The mountain's history of resilience continued during the Cataclysm, when Deathwing's destructive forces threatened Nordrassil once again. The heroes of Azeroth united to defend Hyjal, battling elemental armies and preventing the destruction of the World Tree. Their efforts ensured the land's recovery and demonstrated Hyjal's ongoing importance as a bastion of nature and life. In subsequent ages, including the Legion invasion in the Fourth War, Hyjal remained a key strategic and symbolic location. It served as a refuge and battleground, with defenders fighting to protect Nordrassil and the natural world amidst ongoing threats. After the Fourth War, the destruction of Teldrassil and the subsequent healing of Hyjal reaffirmed the mountain's enduring role as a sanctuary of life and hope for the Night Elves and all of Azeroth. In conclusion, Mount Hyjal is much more than a massive mountain. It is a sacred symbol of resilience, nature, and the enduring spirit of the Night Elves. Its rich history encompasses pivotal events that shaped Azeroth's past and continue to influence its future, highlighting its status as a cornerstone of the world's magical and cultural heritage. Ashenvale, known as the Ashenvale Forest, is a vast and ancient wilderness region located south of Darkshore in Felwood, west of Azshara, and north of the Stonetalon Mountains and the Barrens. It holds significant cultural and spiritual importance for the Night Elves who have long considered it their ancestral homeland. Throughout the zone, the Night Elves maintain control of key settlements such as Astronar, Maestra's Post, Silverwing Grove, and the Shrine of Aecina. However, the region has become a contested battleground, with the Horde establishing settlements like Splinter Tree Post and Zoramgar Outpost, and capturing areas such as Silverwind Refuge, leading to ongoing conflicts between both factions. The forest itself is a place of deep magic, teeming with life and ancient trees that shelter lakes and a diverse array of creatures. Despite pockets of corruption, the area remains a region of spiritual significance and natural beauty. Its western border is lined by the Zoram Strand, home to the hostile Naga, while the eastern boundary is marked by the South Fury River. Travel hubs like Astronar and Forest Song serve as critical points for both the Alliance and Horde, making the zone a focal point for strategic military operations. During the War of the Ancients, it was rumored that the demon Xavius had a tower within the forest, and later, the region was scarred by the cataclysmic battles involving demons, satyrs, and the Burning Legion. The Third War marked a particularly tumultuous period, with orcs, goblins, and demons ravaging the land, and heroes like Cenarius fighting to protect its ancient woods. In the modern era, Ashenvale continues to be a critical battleground between the Horde and Alliance, numerous sieges, invasions, and skirmishes, and the fierce battles leading up to and during the Battle for Azeroth. Ashenvale remains a symbol of the natural world's resilience, a lush and ancient forest that continues to be fought over by those seeking to control its resources and heritage. Its rich history and ongoing struggles make Ashenvale a poignant reminder of both the beauty and the chaos inherent in Azeroth's wilderness. The Azuremyst and Bloodmist Isles are two closely connected groups of islands located in the Veiled Sea off the northwest coast of Kalimdor. These islands were introduced in the World of Warcraft expansion, The Burning Crusade. They are important places in the game's story and have unique environments shaped by their history and the events that have taken place there. Long ago, these islands were part of the mountainous forests of Kalimdor. They were mostly wild and untouched by the Night Elf Empire that once ruled the land. Some historians believe that the Night Elves left these islands alone on purpose, allowing predators and hunters to thrive there. Although there weren't many permanent settlements, ruins and a small city show that the Night Elves once visited or lived in the area. The islands changed forever when the Great Sundering, a huge magical catastrophe, split the world apart. As a result, the Azuremyst Isles became separate from the mainland, trapping all the plants and animals on the islands. Over time, they adapted to their new environment. Things took a turn for the worst when the Draenei, an alien race fleeing from their destroyed homeworld, arrived on Azeroth. Their ship, the Exodar, crash-landed on Azuremyst Isle, causing massive damage to the land. Crystals from the ship's structures spread across the islands, poisoning the environment and upsetting elemental spirits. Some parts of the islands have a reddish tint in the air and plant life, and many creatures there became mutated, hostile, or grew unnaturally large because of radiation. Azuremyst Isle, located in the southwestern area, features the Exodar, which now serves as the main home for the Draenei on Azeroth. The island is split into two main parts by a river, the smaller eastern area called Amhenvale, which is sheltered by hills, and the larger western part. The island has no dungeons or battlegrounds. You can reach the rest of Kalimdor by boat from Rutherin village at the southern edge of Teldrassil. North of Azuremyst is Bloodmist Isle, which was once called Silvergale by the Draenei. Bloodmist is divided into two parts by a narrow stretch of water, with the smaller, less damaged section connected to Azuremyst by a bridge. The larger part of the island is covered with the red mist caused by the crystals from the Exodar. This area is more dangerous and has been heavily affected by the damage, with some mutated creatures in hostile environments. In summary, the Azuremyst and Bloodmist Isles are lands of both beauty and scars. They are the starting points of many Draenei players and have a rich history of survival and adaptation after suffering great damage. Despite their troubled past, these islands hold hope for renewal and new beginnings. Azshara is a striking coastal region located in northeastern Kalimdor, distinguished by its vibrant autumn foliage, rugged cliffs, and expansive beaches. This landscape embodies a blend of natural beauty and underlying hostility, reflecting its tumultuous history. Situated east of Ashenvale, south of Winterspring, and north of Durotar, Azshara's geography has made it a vital yet volatile area. Azshara was inhabited by fierce and often hostile creatures such as ghosts, satyrs, naga, and wild beasts. These threats persisted until goblin forces of the Bilgewater cartel arrived, successfully subduing many dangers and asserting control over the land. The goblins defeated the naga and night elf forces that aimed to exploit Azshara's resources. Trade Prince Gallywix, leader of the Goblin faction, even resides at the Gallywix Pleasure Palace, a symbol of Goblin greed and influence. Bilgewater Harbor serves as the Goblin capital, bustling with commerce and military activity. The region's history is intertwined with major events like the War of the Ancients, where Hulan High Mountain received a blessing from Cenarius, and heroes gathered arcane energies to defend the Well of Eternity during times of crisis. During the Third War, it was ravaged by demon invasions, including the destructive forces of Illidan Stormrage. The invasion of the Burning Legion and the Scourge further scarred the land. In Mists of Pandaria and the Cataclysm, Azshara radically reshaped itself, with goblin engineers constructing a massive base and terraforming the terrain to serve the Horde. In recent years, Azshara has become a crucial part of Horde military and propaganda effects under Garrosh Hellscream. Extensive terraforming, military installations, and war machines now dominate the landscape, transforming Azshara into a fortified region with naval bases and themed constructions. Notably, the region is also of concern to blue dragons like Kalik and Azurgos, who worry about the death of Malagos and threats from black dragonflight. During the Legion invasion, Azshara served as a strategic target, successfully defended through alliances among Horde, Alliance, and Illidari forces. Its landscape and infrastructure bear the marks of centuries of conflict and war, recent terraforming efforts, and ongoing power struggles among various factions and races of Azeroth, making it a symbol of both natural beauty and relentless warfare. Durotar is a rugged, desert-like region in Azeroth that has seen a lot of change over the years. It started out as part of the larger area called the Barrens, mostly controlled by the Razormane Quillboard tribes. The land was harsh and dry, filled with cacti, watering holes, and dangerous animals. For a long time, it was a wild, uninhabited place where only the strongest survived. Everything changed during the Third War when the Orcs, led by War Chief Thrall, arrived on the continent of Kalimdor. Thrall and his allies, including Tauren and Trolls, pushed out the Quilboar and began to settle the land. They named it Durotar after Thrall's father, Drekthar, symbolizing their new beginning. The orcs shifted from a war-focused society to one dedicated on rebuilding and survival. They wanted peace, and with help from their allies, they set out to create a better future. But peace was hard to keep. The orcs faced threats from other enemies, like the Burning Blade clan and the Undead Scourge. They built the city of Orgrimmar as their stronghold, a symbol of their strength and resilience. The Darkspear Trolls, who had been driven from their homeland by treachery, came to settle along the coast in a village called Sinjin. Over time, these different groups worked together, making Durotar a place of many cultures. During the Wrath of the Lich King, the region was attacked by the Scourge, and later, natural disasters like floods and lava flows changed parts of the land during the Cataclysm. These events forced the inhabitants to adapt and rebuild once again. Durotar has also played a key role in the ongoing wars between the Horde and the Alliance. Battles for control of Orgrimmar, invasions, and political struggles have taken place here. Notable events like the Siege of Orgrimmar, which led to a change in leadership within the Horde, and the battles during the Battle for Azeroth expansion, where the land saw new invasions and military actions. Today, Durotar remains a tough but important part of Azeroth. Its landscape is still mostly dry and rocky, but it is also a place where heroes rise and battles are fought. From its rocky beginnings as a wild frontier to its current role as a center of war and resistance, Durotar's history shows how a land can change and grow, shaped by the people who live there and the conflicts they face. The Barrens is a sprawling expanse in central Kalimdor, mostly controlled by the Horde. Once a lush forest tended by night elves, this land has transformed into a dry, sun-baked plain. Its low mountains mark the borders of this vast territory, with lush oases dotting the northern region near the crossroads. During the War of the Ancients, the demigod Lagos faced the Burning Legion here. After the Great Sundering, relentless war and disaster swept through the land, turning it into the arid plain we see today. For generations, the Tauren roamed these plains, honoring their Earth Mother, hunting the mighty Kodo, thunder lizards, cheetah, and zebra. Their tents shifted with the seasons, and their lives revolved around their eternal goddess. Their greatest enemy was the marauding centaur, who hunted them for sport and launched sudden attacks. Yet, the Tauren preferred to find new homes rather than waste lives in needless fighting. When Thrall and his orcish warriors arrived, the land saw a new chapter. The Horde crossed the Barrens, aiding the Tauren of Mulgore in their fight against the Centaur. Grommash Hellscream led the Warsong clan, and eventually, Thrall claimed the eastern parts of the land, naming it Durotar, with Orgrimmar as its capital. Before the events of Warcraft, the Barrens served as a neutral zone, a buffer between Theramore and Durotar, yet tensions simmered beneath the surface. Thrall's trusted warrior Berks led an invasion of Northwatch Hold, demanding its dismantling. Jaina Proudmoore, sensing danger, intervened, stopping the battle and uncovering the sinister influence of the Burning Blade cult's demon master, Zmodlor. The Horde established new settlements across the barren plains, with the crossroads serving as a hub. Dwarves, humans, and goblins also made their mark, building fortresses and trading outposts. Shortly before the Cataclysm, the Barrens dried further, with Oasis vanishing mysteriously. In the chaos of the night, the land was torn apart, split by a flowing river of lava, creating a stark division between the northern and southern regions. Today, the Barrens remains a vital area home to bustling horde settlements like the Crossroads and Camp Taraho. It continues to be a place where armies gather, alliances are tested, and the story of Azeroth's ongoing struggles unfolds. The Stonetalon Mountains, a rugged range located west of the northern Barrens, south of Ashenvale, and north of Desolace, have long been a symbol of natural beauty and cultural significance in Azeroth. Starting from the base of the mountains, the terrain is marked by sparse forests and rocky outputs, home to creatures such as kobolds, spiders, and eagles. The southern reaches, including the Greatwood Vale, feature scattered evergreens offering a glimpse of the area's once lush environment. However, over the years, the mountains have faced severe environmental degradation due to relentless logging by various factions, which has resulted in vast areas of barren cliffs and charred landscapes known as the Charred Vale. As one ascends the slopes, the landscape transitions from the deforested lower regions to the more forested upper peaks, notably Stonetalon Peak. Historically, this peak has been a sacred site for the Night Elves and Tauren, housing a glade and a barrow that honor their spiritual connection to the land. Over time, these sites have come under threat from dark forces and destructive efforts, particularly during the Cataclysm, when the land was ravaged by Deathwing's eruption. The devastation left parts of the mountain scarred with lava flows and corrupted land, reflecting the chaos that had befallen Azeroth. Throughout the various expansions, the mountain's strategic importance and environmental state have evolved. During the Third War, the area served as a battleground where humans, orcs, night elves, and other factions clashed amidst the ruins of earlier conflict. The once pristine forests and sacred sites were marred by war and exploitation, and the landscape was further altered by the elemental forces and the influence of old gods. The destruction reached a new height after the Cataclysm, with the Charred Vale becoming a desolate wreck filled with fire elementals and black dragons, symbolizing the scars left behind. Despite these changes, the mountain range remains a vital region for Azeroth's various peoples. The Night Elves, who once maintained a peaceful presence at the mountain's summit, now find their ancestral grounds threatened and partially corrupted. They have established several holds within the mountains, striving to preserve their heritage and protect the land from further harm. Meanwhile, the Tauren maintain their settlement at Sunrock Retreat, and the Darkspear Trolls have a village further south. Toward the top of the mountains, a notable Night Elf encampment exists, serving as a stronghold and a reminder of the elven connection to the land. This encampment continues to be a place of spiritual significance and resilience for the Night Elves, symbolizing their ongoing efforts to reclaim and restore their sacred sites amidst the ongoing turmoil that has reshaped the Stonetalon Mountains over the years. Mulgore, in classic World of Warcraft, stands as a verdant testament to the noble Tauren race. Nestled within the foothills of the Stonetalon Mountains and encircled by natural mountain walls, it offers both serenity and challenge. The landscape is characterized by lush plains, rolling hills, and mesas, with the towering Thunder Bluff overlooking the region, a city carved into the mesas that symbolizes the strength and unity of the Tauren. Despite its peaceful appearance, Mulgore is a land of conflict. The plains teem with wild beasts, providing sustenance for hunters and symbolizing the Tauren's deep connection to the Earth Mother. However, threats loom in the form of quillboars, gnolls, and the Grim Totem tribe, all seeking to destabilize the region. The Venture Company's mining operations and the encroachment of hostile tribes threatened the delicate balance of Mulgore's ecosystem and culture. Historically, Mulgore is revered as the ancestral homeland of the Tauren, where they settled centuries after the Sundering. It is a land imbued with myth, from the echoes of the War of the Three Hammers to the divine rites of the Great Hunt. The arrival of the orcs and the subsequent construction of Thunderbluff marked a turning point, transforming nomadic tribes into a unified nation under leaders like Cairn Bloodhoof. Throughout its history, Mulgore has seen periods of peace and turmoil. It was reclaimed from centaur invasions, defended against external threats like the Scourge, and later became embroiled in internal conflicts fueled by the Grim Totem. Still, the Tauren's resilience shines through as they rally to protect their land and uphold their spiritual traditions. Today, Mulgore remains a land of contrasts, a peaceful pasture shadowed by the history of war and the ongoing struggle to preserve their homeland. It embodies the spirit of the Tauren, noble, resilient, and deeply connected to the earth. The land's beauty upholds the persistent challenges it faces, making Mulgore a true reflection of the Tauren's enduring legacy. Dustwallow Marsh is a vast and mysterious swamp located in central Kalimdor. Its treacherous terrain and dense, tangled wilderness have kept both the Horde and Alliance at bay, preventing the region from becoming a battleground. The marsh is characterized by its humid environment, where underground springs keep the waters perpetually muddy and teeming with dangerous creatures. Theramore Isle is a prominent Alliance stronghold founded by Jaina Proudmoore. Its gleaming walls stand as a symbol of hope and military power for the Alliance, though its influence remains limited by the harsh landscape. The nearby road leading to the Barrens is in disrepair, reflecting the declining military presence and the mysterious reasons behind the desertion of Theramore's garrison. On the Horde side, the marsh hosts a small but significant presence centered around Brackenwall Village, established by the Stonemaul Ogres under the leadership of Overlord Mok'Marak. This settlement serves as the only notable Horde outpost in the region, as much of the marsh remains wild and largely unclaimed. The area is also home to the ruins of the Black Dragonflight's influence, with regions like Wormbog and Dragonmurk haunted by the remnants of black dragons, including the infamous Onyxia. During the Burning Crusade, goblins created the town of Mudsprocket, and the Grim Totem tribe expanded their influence. The region was relatively unaffected by the cataclysm, although new roads were added to improve connectivity. The destruction of Theramore by Garrosh Hellscream during the Mists of Pandaria expansion marked a turning point, transforming the once thriving city into ruins that later served as a strategic location during the Battle for Azeroth. Geographically, Dustwallow Marsh is a jumble of wetlands, low hills, and islands. Its environment is rich in dangerous wildlife and ancient secrets, making it a perilous yet intriguing destination for adventurers. The marsh remains a land of mystery, where hidden skirmishes and clandestine activities continue beneath its murky waters and tangled trees, reflecting the ongoing struggle for control and survival in this untamed region of Kalimdor. Desolace, a bleak and rocky wasteland nestled within the continent of Kalimdor, has long stood as a testament to the destructive forces of nature and the history of Azeroth. In WoW Classic, Desolace appeared as an arid gray expanse, scarred by centuries of chaos, its landscape littered with bones and polluted pools of yellow water. The skies perpetually hung heavy with dark clouds, lightning crackles across the stormy heavens, a supernatural curse seeming to hang over the land. This cursed atmosphere reflected the land's turbulent past and the ongoing conflicts that plagued its inhabitants. At the heart of Desolace's lore are the centaur tribes Kolkar, Magrim, Gelkis, and Maradine, each vying for dominance over this hostile terrain. The Kolkar, the least influential, dwell along the eastern mountains, while the Magrim scattered their yurts near the juncture of eastern and southern ranges amidst toxic pools. The Gelkis occupy a formidable ravine accessible only via treacherous rope bridges, serving as the seat of their leadership. Maradine, the largest of the tribes, inhabit the canyons and cliffs beyond the Veiled Sea and the Kodo Graveyard, guarding the entrance to the infamous Maradin, a dungeon filled with ancient, powerful spirits. Desolace was also home to the Grimtail Gnolls led by Cackle, who inhabited the last forest, a rare patch of woodland amidst the wasteland. This forest served as a refuge for various tribes, including Taun of Old Ironhoof, scattered orcs, trolls, goblins, and nomadic Quillboar tribes, creating pockets of life amid the otherwise barren landscape. The region also hosted Nigel's Point, a mysterious trading post and port that was hidden from map, hinting at clandestine dealings in the land's darker undercurrents. Over time, Desolace's landscape and narrative have evolved through game expansions and updates. The land itself has seen subtle changes, some areas becoming more desolate, others revealing new secrets buried beneath the sands and rocks. The introduction of new quests and dungeons, such as the Moradin instance, deepened the lore surrounding the Centaur tribes and their ancient cursed domains. The Moradin dungeon, located with Maradine territory, became a focal point of adventure, revealing the dark magic and ancient spirits that haunt the region. Despite its harsh environment, Desolace offers opportunities for exploration and conquest. Goblin ventures and questlines have added layers of complexity, turning the wasteland into a battleground for resource extraction and strategic dominance. The region's diverse fauna, Kodo, thunder lizards, elementals, and monstrous scorpids pose significant challenges, symbolizing the resilience of life amid adversity. Geographically, Desolace remains isolated by surrounding mountain ranges, Stonetalon Mountains to the north, and Feralus to the southeast, limiting its interaction with other parts of Kalimdor. However, its western coastline, with the lush yet melancholic Shadowprey village, provides a stark contrast to the interior's gloom, offering travelers a glimpse of beauty amid despair. In conclusion, Desolace's history is one of resilience amidst ruin, an ancient battleground where the forces of nature, magic, and war have left indelible scars. Desolace continues to captivate players with its haunting beauty and rich lore, embodying the enduring struggle between destruction and survival. Feralus is a verdant and expansive rainforest region within Azeroth, distinguished by its towering ancient trees, lush foliage, and vibrant ecosystems. Unlike its surroundings, barren neighbors like Desolace and Thousand Needles, Feralus offers a striking contrast with its dense jungle environment. It is home to the great trees, including one that serves as a gateway to the Emerald Dream, a mystical realm representing the essence of nature itself. Despite its natural beauty, Feralus has a tumultuous history marked by war, corruption, and the influence of powerful factions, making it a land of both wonder and danger. Following the devastation of the Third War, Feralus became a battleground for factions vying for control. The region was plagued by ogre clans, such as the bloodthirsty Gordunai, who desecrated ancient elven ruins and established a foothold in the area. The ogres, aided by dark magic from cultists and the Twilight's Hammer, spread chaos throughout the jungle, attacking settlements and corrupting the land. The ancient city of Dire Mall, once a thriving elven metropolis, was overtaken and ravaged by ogre forces, becoming a symbol of the region's struggle between nature and dark influence. The political landscape of Feralis is complex, involving the Horde, Alliance, and various native tribes. The Grim Totem Torum, led by Magatha Grim Totem, rebelled against their own leadership after her usurpation, further destabilizing the region. To counter these threats, the Horde established outposts which served as bases for military operations against ogres and other hostile creatures. Meanwhile, the Alliance built strongholds like Feathermoon Stronghold to protect their interests and aid local inhabitants. Throughout its history, Feralis has experienced destructive events, notably during the Cataclysm when Deathwing's awakening caused massive floods and widespread devastation. Key settlements like Thalanar and Feathermoon Stronghold were destroyed or heavily damaged, prompting both factions to establish new outposts to adapt to the chaos. Feralis remains a vital, ever-changing landscape where history, magic, and nature intertwine in the ongoing story of Azeroth. Despite the scars of war and corruption, the region's natural beauty endures, standing as a testament to Azeroth's enduring spirit. Thousand Needles is a large area in southern Kalimdor. It is known for its tall, sharp rock formations called mesas. In the east, the canyon opens to the Shimmering Flats, where players could find a famous goblin racing location. In its past, Thousand Needles was a dry, desert area with many mesas. It was mostly inhabited by Tauren, a herd-like race. The Tauren fought back against the Centaur, especially the Grim Totem tribe. The Shimmering Flats was a famous racetrack where gnomes and goblins raced rocket-powered cars. These races were a way to test who had the better engineering skills. During the Encourage War, the area was invaded by the armies of Cthulhu, a powerful creature from the deep. The zone was a battleground during this time. The Cataclysm caused major changes. When Deathwing, a dragon, returned, he caused massive flooding across Azeroth, included the Thousand Needles. The Shimmering Flats turned into a large lake called the Shimmering Deep. The speedway was wrecked, and the wreckage is still visible today. Goblins built a speed barge on a floating island in the middle of the lake. Although they work together, the area remains hostile, especially between the Horde and the Alliance, leading to frequent encounters and battles. During the Legion invasion, demons attacked Thousand Needles, targeting the Grim Totem tribe's home. The area continues to be a place of conflict with pirates and Tauren fighting for control. Today, the Great Lift, which used to connect parts of Thousand Needles, no longer functions. The landscape has been heavily changed by the Cataclysm, making travel more difficult. The zone can be reached on foot from Feralis, Tanaris, and the Southern Barrens. However, the path from the Barrens is dangerous because of Quillbore, a hostile race that has been pushed to the edge of extinction by conflicts between the Horde and Alliance. Traveling by foot is possible, but it's slow, especially on water. Many players use flying mounts to move more easily across the flooded landscape. Quests in this area guide players to explore the new, altered Thousand Needles and face its struggles and challenges. In conclusion, Thousand Needles has a long history of peace, conflict, and change. From its tall spires and racing history to its flooding and conflicts after the Cataclysm, the zone remains a place of beauty and danger. It continues to be a significant part of Azeroth's story, showing how nature and war have shaped its landscape over time. Tanaris is a vast and arid desert situated in the southern region of Kalimdor, covering a significant expanse just south of Thousand Needles and east of Ungoro Crater. Tanaris is also significant for its modern inhabitants, particularly the goblins of the Steamweedle Cartel. They established Steamweedle Port, and Gadgetzin as their main centers of operation. The landscape of Tanaris is predominantly characterized by rolling sand dunes and a cloudless sky, which contributes to its extreme temperatures. Despite the seemingly barren surface, Tanaris sustains a variety of wildlife, including humans, sand fury trolls, hyenas, scorpids, basilisks, and silithid insects. The southern part of the desert is more mountainous, featuring large cavern networks that extend deep beneath the surface. These underground tunnels remain largely unexplored due to the perilous conditions and the many creatures that inhabit them. One of the most notable features of Tanaris is its connection to the bronze dragonflight, based out of the Caverns of Time located within the desert. These caverns serve as portals through time, allowing access to pivotal moments in Azeroth's history. It was here that the Titan Anachronos discovered the threat posed by the Silithid, an insectoid species that built massive hives deep within the desert. This discovery triggered the War of the Shifting Sands, a pivotal conflict that ultimately affected regions far beyond Tanaris. Historically, Tanaris was once a lush jungle and part of the territory of the ancient Gurubashi Empire. And the Great Sundering, a cataclysmic event that reshaped the world, fractured the landmass. The thriving jungle transformed into the arid desert we see today. The Faraki tribe of trolls, stranded in this hostile environment, adapted their bodies and their structures to withstand the harsh temperature and environment of the sandy desert. Their temple and city Zul'Farrak still stands to this day. Today, Tanaris remains a land of secrets and adventure. It hosts numerous questing opportunities, including traversing the Caverns of Time, exploring the ruins of Zul'Farrak, and battling the Silithid hives. The Ungoro Crater is a notable region in southern Kalimdor, characterized by its unique geography, rich history, and ecological diversity. Its name, meaning Godlands in the Kiraji language, reflects its importance and mystical nature. Situated between the deserts of Tanaris, Silithus, and Uldum, the crater is largely isolated from the surrounding areas, yet it teems with exotic flora and fauna, ranging from gentle earth elementals to formidable devilsaurs. This biodiversity makes it a popular location for farming rare items and participating in events like Ungoro Madness. This zone was deliberately designed by the Titans as a site for experimentation, alongside Shalazar Basin and the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, all of which are linked to the power of the Well of Eternity. These locations served as cradles for the emergence of the wild gods and are considered to be the Titans' petri dishes, possibly even their home during their time inhabiting Azeroth. In more recent history, Ungoro played a role during conflicts such as the War of the Shifting Sands, where it served as a defensive barrier against the Kiraji, preventing their expansion into other parts of Kalimdor. The area has also seen various expeditions who faced the area's savage beasts and elemental invaders while seeking to establish footholds. The zone has experienced invasions during the Ahn'Qiraj War and the Burning Legion invasion, highlighting its strategic importance. Throughout various expansions of World of Warcraft, Ungoro has continued to be a site of interest. The discovery of the Shaper's Terrace during the Wrath of the Lich King expansion and its subsequent uncovering and disruption during the Cataclysm reveal the ongoing influence of Titan experimentation and ancient constructs. Access to Ungoro is typically from surrounding zones like Silithus and Tanaris, with pathways and ramps allowing players to venture into the lush and dangerous landscape. The region's geography is marked by a central volcano, crystal formations, and roaming dinosaurs, making it both a visually stunning but perilous environment. Ungoro contains no instances or battlegrounds, emphasizing its role as a wilderness, an experimental ground rather than a combat zone. In summary, Ungoro Crater is a region rich in history, ecological diversity, and Titan-related mysteries. Its ancient origins play a significant role in Warcraft conflicts, and ongoing significance in the game's lore make it a fascinating and vital part of Azeroth's landscape. Whether as a site for adventure, research, or historical intrigue, Ungoro remains a symbol of the primordial and mystical forces shaping Azeroth. Nestled in the southwestern corner of Kalimdor, Silithus, also known as the Silithus Desert, is a vast and desolate expanse that embodies the remnants of ancient civilizations, cosmic battles, and ongoing war. Accessible only by traversing the northern reaches of Ungoro Crater, Silithus stands as a stark, insect-infested wasteland that bears the scars of millennia of war and catastrophe. Its unique geography, layered history, and pivotal role in Azeroth's ongoing struggles make it a region of profound significance within the Warcraft universe. The Night Elves' attempt to prevent the outbreak reflects their understanding of the danger. At the heart of Silithus lies the remnants of the once mighty Akiri Empire, a civilization of insectoid beings known as the Silithid. These creatures built the legendary Ahn'Qiraj, a sprawling temple, complex, and city that serves as both a religious site and a fortress. The Qiraji, rulers of the empire, were sealed behind the Scarab Wall, a massive barrier constructed by the Night Elves in an effort to contain the threat posed by the infestation. Despite their efforts, the Silithid eventually broke free, spreading hives across southern Kalimdor and beyond, infecting the land with their swarms. The zone is dotted with ancient ruins, including the raid dungeons of the ruins of Ahn'Qiraj and the Temple of Ahn'Qiraj, which serve as reminders of the Empire's grandeur and the ongoing struggle to control its remnants. In the context of World of Warcraft's evolving narrative, Silithus has served as a rich storytelling hub. During the Gates of Ahn'Qiraj event, it was expanded into a major questing zone with episodic storylines that involved battling insect swarms, defending against invasions, and unearthing ancient secrets. The redesign introduced features catering to solo adventurers and groups alike, including outdoor raid bosses, reflecting its importance as a battleground for players. Throughout its history, Silithus has been a focal point of military and ecological importance. The Cenarian Circle, a druidic organization dedicated to preserving balance within Azeroth, maintains a constant presence at Cenarian Hold, diligently monitoring the Silithid hives. Silithus' significance extends beyond its barren sands. It embodies the enduring legacy of ancient civilizations and the ongoing efforts to protect Azeroth, from the rise of the Akiri Empire to the scars left by Sargeras' assault. In the subsequent Battle for Azeroth expansion, Silithus became a symbol of both destruction and hope. Magni Bronzebeard led efforts to heal the planet, establishing Silithus as a central location for Azeroth's recovery. A pivotal moment occurred during the third invasion of the Burning Legion, when Sargeras, the fallen titan, attempted to annihilate Azeroth by impaling his sword into the planet's core. The impact scarred Silithus profoundly, creating a vast wound in the desert and causing Azeroth's blood, Azurite, to seep to the surface. Uldum is an ancient and enigmatic desert region nestled along the southern coast of Kalimdor, surrounded by notable geographic features such as the Ungoro Crater to the north, Tanaris to the east, and Silithus to the northwest. Uldum is steeped in history, mystery, and Titan lore. Historically, Oldham was once a lush jungle dotted with pristine lakes and waterfalls, a stark contrast to its current barren state. This verdant past was transformed through the actions of powerful Titan constructs and ancient guardians. The region became the site of the Forge of Origination, installed by Highkeeper Ra and his followers comprising the Talvir and Nubisaths and the Mogu during the Ordering of Azeroth. The Forge was a marvel of Titan engineering, designed not only to regulate the planet's fundamental rhythms and fortify the world's soul, but also to act as a contingency weapon capable of re-origination of the entire planet should systemic corruption threaten Azeroth. The history of Oldham took a tumultuous turn when Lei Shin, the Thunder King, imprisoned Highkeeper Ra and seized control over the region. Lei Shin sought the secrets of eternal life within the Forge of Origination, believing it could grant him godlike power. The Tol'vir, aware of the catastrophic potential of the Forge, devised a desperate plan. They activated the Forge's defenses, unleashing waves of destructive energy that obliterated Lei Shin and his armies, but at a great cost. Oldham was left scarred, transformed into a barren desert, its lands devastated and magic sealed to prevent further intrusion. Centuries later, the region's landscape and secrets remained hidden beneath the sands until the cataclysm struck Azeroth. The disaster damaged Titan devices, exposing Oldham to new threats and revealing its long-buried mysteries. Among its many secrets was the work of Irmat, a renowned Tol'vir weaponsmith whose mastery of elemental magic produced artifacts representing the air spirits. His attempt to bind Al-Akir, the Wind Lord, resulted in destruction and chaos, illustrating the peril of tampering with the elemental forces. In recent history, Oldham again became a battleground during the conflict known as the Battle for Azeroth. The emergence of Amethet, a faction of Tol'vir believing themselves the sole stewards of Titanic secrets, led to renewed hostilities. They sought control over Azerite and challenged the existing guardians of Oldham, including the Romkin civilization. The region's strategic importance prompted the formation of the Oldham Accord, uniting explorers, bandits, and defenders against N'Zoth's corrupting influence and the Amethet's ambitions. In history of creation, destruction, and rebirth continues to influence the present, serving as a reminder of the fragile balance between power and catastrophe. Imagine thick jungles alive with vibrant flora and hidden dangers, deadly plants, fierce beasts, and the echoes of ancient civilizations. The region was once the heart of the powerful Gurubashi Empire, with troll cities scattered through the jungle. Even today, the trolls hunt in the shadows, their resilience echoing through the ruins of Zol Gurub. Off the coast, the waters teem with pirates, bloodsail buccaneers, and others, causing a gentle lapping of waves to blend into the jungle's ambient chorus. Legend speaks of the tone of the tides, discovered along the coast, bestowing control over water, but cursed to fade and vanish into the sea. Tales of the Gurubashi Civil War, Hakar the Blood God, and the fall of their empire drift through the jungle sounds, whispered stories of power, betrayal, and survival. After the cataclysm, Stranglethorn was forever altered. A massive sinkhole, the Sundering, split the land into northern Stranglethorn and the Cape. The jungle now features jagged terrain, roaring whirlpools, and turbulent waters, sounds of upheaval beneath the canopy. Factions moved in, goblins set up oil pipelines, explorers uncovered ancient relics, and the Zandalari reasserted their presence. Zol Gurub, once a proud city, became a battleground once more, echoing with clashes and chants of war. Despite the chaos, the jungle's heartbeat persists, wild, resilient, and full of stories waiting to be uncovered beneath the shifting landscape. As we wrap up our journey through Stranglethorn, its history, its upheavals, and its enduring spirit, remember that this land is more than just game terrain. It's alive with magic, conflict, and resilience. Its sounds, the rustling leaves, distant roars, and crashing waves, invite us to listen and feel its vibrant history. Imagine a vast, desolate desert, an area once part of a sprawling marsh called the Black Morass. To the north lay the Swamp of Sorrows. This land is etched into history as the very place where the Orcish horde first entered Azeroth through the dark, foreboding dark portal. The portal's destruction left the surrounding lands burnt and twisted forever, warped by the chaos unleashed from Draenor. Constant lightning flashes streak across the sky, illuminating the bleak, inhospitable terrain. Vicious creatures roam these scorched plains, their roars echoing through the empty silence. Following the Second War, after the initial destruction of the Dark Portal, the human mages of the current Tor built Netherguard Keep, an outpost to defend Azeroth from further invasions. For 2 years, peace held, but then the Horde of Draenor reopened the portal, launching a fierce siege on Netherguard. Battles raged back and forth, control shifting repeatedly as the land trembled beneath the chaos. After the devastating Third War and the defeat of the Burning Legion at Mount Hyjal, the Legion's forces, led by the mighty Lord Kazak, swept into Azeroth through the Tainted Scar. His terrifying lieutenant, Razalik, the Defiler, was tasked with securing the land, turning it into a battleground filled with demonic influence. The Blasted Lands became a focal point during the invasion of Outland. The armies of the Argent Dawn, along with the Alliance and Horde, fought desperately against the Burning Legion's forces as the Dark Portal was once more reopened. The land, now scarred by demonic energies, became a battleground where hope and despair intertwined. In the years leading up to the war against the Lich King, the Scourge invaded the region twice, their dark armies spreading shadow and decay across the land. The Blasted Lands remained a strategic point, battered but unbroken. During the Cataclysm, the land was further transformed. The Dark Portal itself was shattered, and the region became even more fractured. The Horde's forces seized control of Dreadmaul Hold, while the remnants of the land twisted into a barren, crimson-tinted wasteland. The unearthly color of the scorched rocks, shaped by heat and chaos. In an effort to restore some semblance of the land's former nature, Marl Wormthorn, a Gilnean druid, attempted to return the Tainted Scar to its natural state, but the demonic corruption was too strong, turning much of the area into the Tainted Forest, a corrupted, eerie place nearby. The Blood Elves established a small camp, searching for demonic artifacts amid the chaos. Today, the Blasted Lands are a desolate frontier guarded fiercely by Netherguard's mages at the north, watching the Dark Portal's remnants. Few dare to venture into its harsh wilderness, which is home to hardy desert creatures like basilisks, scorpions, and hyenas, adapted to survive in this scarred landscape. The only verdant area, the Tainted Forest, remains corrupted by demonic powers, a silent testament to the ongoing struggle between chaos and order. The Swamp of Sorrows is a remote and treacherous marshland located on the eastern side of Azeroth, nestled between Deadwind Pass, the Blasted Lands, and Redridge Mountains. Its landscape is characterized by stagnant bogs, weeping trees, and salt-encrusted fallen logs, creating a foreboding environment that is both dangerous and mysterious. The ocean's influence seeps into the fen, making the water brackish and ideal for predators like alligators and crocolisks. This hostile terrain is inhabited by various creatures, including bog beasts, crocolis, spiders, jaguars, and tribes of murlocs along the coast. Despite its perilous nature, the Swamp of Sorrows has attracted the attention of the Horde, who established a colony here due to its isolation from Stormwind. The Orc outpost of Stonard, rebuilt under Thrall's leadership after the First War, serves as a strategic base of operations. Conversely, the Alliance has responded by setting up Marshtide Watch nearby to counter Horde activities. The region's limited access routes, initially from Duskwood and the Blasted Lands, have expanded within the development of roads connecting to goblin settlements like Bog Paddle. Historically, the Swamp of Sorrows was part of the larger Black Morass. After the fall of the Gurabashi Empire, a faction of trolls known as the Atalai fled into the swamp and constructed the Temple of Atal Hakar, a site imbued with demonic energy that drives living beings to madness. Ysera of the Green Dragonflight intervened by sinking the temple into the bog to contain its evil influence. The Second War saw the destruction of the Dark Portal, which caused the southern part of the original swamp to transform into the barren Blasted Lands, while the northern section retained its name and identity as the Swamp of Sorrows. The upheaval also led to the creation of the Lost Ones, Draenei who went mad from homesickness and chaos, and the broken exiles who managed to escape this fate. After the war, the region became a focal point for Horde research, exploration, and settlement, especially under Thrall's leadership, with Stonard being revitalized and new settlements like the Harborage emerging, inhabited by neutral Draenei. Deadwind Pass is a dark and foreboding region nestled between the mountains and the Swamp of Sorrows, serving as a crucial gateway into the cursed city of Karazhan. Deadwind Pass was shrouded in mystery and danger. Nobles from Darkshire ventured into the pass to investigate the strange blight that had settled over the area, but none who entered the ominous Dark Tower ever returned, fueling rumors of its deadly influence. Over time, the region became home to the Deadwind Ogres, who settled in the area known as the Vice, establishing their camps and mounds amidst the darkness, further reinforcing its reputation as a land corrupted and overrun by hostile forces. The Violet Eye, a secret sect found by the current tour of Dalaran, was tasked with monitoring Karazhan, the mysterious tower at the heart of the region. Though Medivh, the tower's guardian, had long since been slain, Karazhan remained sealed off from the outside world. The Violet Eye's ongoing study aimed to understand the tower's arcane disturbances and prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, especially since Karazhan acted as a portal into the twisting Nether, a dangerous and chaotic realm. During this period, adventurers uncovered that Karazhan's magic had shifted from arcane to massive energy vacuums with faint demonic echoes, hinting at the lingering influence of the Burning Legion. The hero's efforts culminated in the defeat of Prince Malchazar, a demon prince attempting to seize control of the tower for the Legion. The landscape and lore of Deadwind Pass were further altered during the Cataclysm expansion. When Deathwing shattered Azeroth's surface, chaos erupted across the land. In the aftermath, Nallis, a black dragon, allied with the Blackworm cult, hid beneath Deadwind Pass's master's cellar. She conducted arcane experiments by digging into the buried secrets beneath the pass's foundations, seeking power that could influence the ongoing chaos. Her efforts were eventually thwarted when a rogue adventurer, acting on Rathion's orders, infiltrated her lair and eliminated her threat. With the return of the Legion, we revisit Deadwind Pass once again, this time as a battleground for the ongoing war against the Burning Legion. Following the battle for the Broken Shore, the city of Dalaran was moved to hover over Deadwind Pass and Karazhan itself. The thriving southern reaches of the Kingdom of Stormwind, the eerie region now known as Duskwood has succumbed to an ominous darkness, transforming it into a place of fear and mystery. The dense forest is home to a determined populace who, despite overwhelming adversity, refuse to abandon their land. Skeletal warriors, ghouls, and worgen lurk in the haunting forest. The primary protectors of this land are the Night Watch, a vigilant militia, led by Commander Althea Ebonlock. With the forces of Stormwind stretched thin in the ongoing war against the Horde, Darkshire has been left to fend for themselves, desperately clinging to the hope that one day the light will return. Dominating Duskwood's eerie landscape is an ancient, long-dead volcano crater teeming with a surprising abundance of life. This crater harbors one of the Great Trees, a mystical portal leading into the Emerald Dream. The influence of the slumbering druids within this dreamlike realm casts an unusual twilight glow over the area, extinct from the perpetual gloom of the rest of Duskwood. Beyond the crater, the land is dotted with long-abandoned farmsteads, further emphasizing the desolation that has gripped the region. One of the most haunting locations within Duskwood is Raven Hill Cemetery. The walking dead haunt the cemetery, drawn forth by the lingering darkness. While the darkness that enshrouds Duskwood remains a mystery, its origins may be tied to the tragic story of Valindi Starsong, a night elf seeking to battle the growing worgen threat. Valindi came to Duskwood wielding the Scythe of Elwynn, an artifact of immense power. Unknown circumstances led to her disappearance, and the Scythe eventually found its way to a mine known as Rollin's Doom. A man in Duskwood named Jitters unwittingly unleashed its dark energies, filling the mine with worgen and tearing his companions apart. Jitters fled across Duskwood seeking refuge. In a desperate attempt to escape his hunters, he discarded the scythe at Yorgen Farmstead, only to witness an even greater horror, the arrival of the Black Riders from Deadwind Pass. These mysterious and malevolent figures mercilessly slaughtered Sven Jorgen's family before vanishing into the night. The fate of the Scythe of Elwynn remains uncertain, but some believe that the Black Riders may have taken it to the Cursed Tower of Karazhan to the east. Today, the people of Darkshire continue their desperate battle against the darkness that encroaches upon their homes. Despite their dwindling numbers, the secrets of this land, from the haunted Ravenhill Cemetery to the enigmatic Scythe of Elwynn, continue to draw explorers seeking to uncover the truth behind the darkness. Yet one thing remains certain: until the curse is lifted, Duskwood will remain forever shrouded in night. To the west of Elwynn Forest, beyond the gentle hills and golden woodlands, lies a land where dreams once grew as tall as wheat. This is Westfall, the shattered breadbasket of Stormwind. Once a land of golden harvest, green pastures, and humble prosperity, Westfall fed the kingdom of Stormwind for generations, but those days are long gone. Scarred by war, betrayal, and neglect, the fertile plains have withered into dust, and the people, many, have turned bitter, some to vengeance, others to survival. After the fall of Stormwind in the First War, the region was reclaimed and rebuilt, but not without cost. The Stonemasons Guild, the architects of the capital's rebirth, were cast aside by a bankrupt nobility. With their payment denied and their honor disgraced, the guild fractured. Its leader, Edwin Van Cleef, fled to Westfall from the shadows. He forged the Defias Brotherhood, an insurgency born not of ideology, but of betrayal. Van Cleef's rise turned Westfall into a no-man's land. Farmers were driven from their fields. The dead mines, once a vital source of wealth, became a haven for smugglers, bandits, and worse. Mechanical harvesters were twisted by goblin engineering. They now prowl the farmland as soulless creatures of terror. Marshal Grian Stoutmantle, a man of unyielding resolve, formed the People's Militia from Sentinel Hill. He rallied those still loyal to Stormwind to stand against the Brotherhood with help of adventurers. Van Cleef was slain, but the damage endured. After the Cataclysm, fresh waves of hardship washed over the land. Tidal storms, economic collapse, and the costs of war left thousands displaced, homeless, and desperate. Many once again found kinship in the red scarves of the Defias, this time under Vanessa Van Cleef, Edwin's daughter. From the ashes of Moonbrook to the charred remains of Sentinel Hill, she led the Second Uprising, fueled by righteous fury. But the storm passed, and adventurers once again descended into the dead mines and ended the Brotherhood's rebirth with fire and steel. And even Vanessa, with her vengeance exhausted, laid down her sword, urging those who once followed her to return to their families and till the soil instead of sowing dissent. Yet Westfall's soil remembers. It remembers every footstep of those who walked away from power and those who rose in rebellion. It remembers the Knoll raids, pirate sieges, dragon conspiracies, and the shadows of war. The winds that once carried the scent of bread now carry the scent of ash and rust, but still, the people endure. Because in Westfall, survival is not just an act, it is a legacy. Nestled at the foot of the Burning Steps, bordered by the Redridge Mountains in the shadowy reaches of Duskwood, lies a land steeped in beauty, history, and conflict. This is Elwynn Forest, the heartland of the human kingdom of Stormwind. With its rolling hills, tranquil glades, and towering trees, Elwynn appears at first glance to be a peaceful refuge, but beneath its calm surface lies a rich and turbulent past. Centuries ago, Elwynn was little more than untamed wilderness until early human settlers, descendants of the Arathi bloodline, arrived. From their hard labor rose small villages, bustling farms, and outposts that would one day form the lifeblood of the kingdom. During the First War, this idyllic region was ravaged by the invading horde. The forests were burned, settlements like Goldshire and Northshire Abbey reduced to ruins. Yet from the ashes, the people of Stormwind rebuilt, stronger, but not without cost. The economic toll would lead to unrest and the birth of the infamous Defias Brotherhood. Over the years, Elwynn has weathered many storms: the Scourge invasion, arcane disruptions, and the catastrophic Cataclysm. Each left scars on the land and on its people. Black rock orcs crept in through the mountain passes, kobolds overran the mines, murlocs infested the lakes, and once peaceful creatures grew savage under dark influence. Its people, hardy farmers, skilled loggers, and loyal soldiers, maintain a fragile peace. From Northshire Abbey, new adventurers rise to defend the kingdom. From the Eastvale logging camp to the proud gates of Stormwind City, life carries on. Even today, reminders of past conflicts remained. Shattered catapults, abandoned bandit camps, and the ever-looming threat of unrest. Yet the forest thrives. Its fields yield crops to feed the capital, its festivals celebrate the cycle of planting and harvest, and its roads, though dangerous, carry the heartbeat of the realm. Elwynn Forest is more than a region. It is the soul of Stormwind, a land where history breathes through the trees, and where the call to heroism goes with every rustling leaf. To the east of Elwynn Forest, beyond the tranquil woodlands and into the rising terrain, lies a land of rugged beauty and simmering conflict. These are the Redridge Mountains, a region as storied as it is scarred. With their rolling hills, towering elms, and the shimmering expanse of Lake Everstill, the Redridge Mountains seems at first like a peaceful backwater, yet beneath its serene exterior, this land is marked by strife, past and present. Once part of the fertile frontier of the human kingdom of Stormwind, Redridge grew from humble farmsteads into a network of small settlements, but peace did not last. From the summoning of the Firelord Ragnaros and the eruption that birthed Blackrock Mountain to the Horde's brutal conquest during the First War, Redridge has long been a battleground of elemental, political, and martial upheaval. The human town of Lakeshire stands as the last true bastion of civilization in the region, a modest yet proud settlement nestled on the western shore of Lake Everstill. Long under siege by the Gnolls and the Blackrock Orcs, the town's citizens live in constant vigilance. Stonewatch Keep, once a proud fortress, was taken by these same enemies, serving as a grim reminder of the encroaching threat. Though claimed by the Alliance, the mountains remain contested. The Blackrock Orcs still prowl the high roads, Murlocs beneath the lake's surface, and ancient raptors stalk the rocky ridges. The Tower of Ilgalar, home to the rogue warlock Morganth, casts a dark shadow across the eastern hills. Redridge is not only a crucible of military struggle, it is a place steeped in deeper history. Hidden beneath its rocky spine long before the Horde arrived, the Dragon Soul, a relic of terrible power, was concealed here by the dragons themselves. For 10,000 years it slumbered, until visions led Deathwing's followers to seek it once more. During the Cataclysm, the region's tenuous stability was shattered again. The Dark Horde, led by the dragon Darkblaze, launched a new campaign. It was only through the efforts of brave adventurers and the reformation of the legendary Bravo Company that the tide turned. Render's Valley was obliterated in the ensuing conflict, but Redridge endured, scarred but not broken. Today, Redridge remains a volatile land. Its highlands serve as passage for those journeying between Flamecrest and the Burning Steppes. Yet for Stormwind, it is more than a throughway, it is a symbol of resilience. Its people, cut off and under siege, continue to hold the line. From its ash-strewn northern cliffs to its monster-haunted lakeside caves, Redridge is a land forever caught between two worlds, one of pastoral beauty and another of looming war. To the north of Redridge Mountains, however, there's another side to this world that's far from serene. The Burning Steppes, a place that's seen its fair share of war over the years, as one of the only land routes connecting the Kingdom of Stormwind to the northern regions of Modan and Lordaeron. This rugged stretch of territory has become a well-traveled but incredibly dangerous wasteland. The steppes were nominally under the control of Stormwind of some rather unsavory characters. The Black Dragonflight and agents of the Firelord Ragnaros have taken over, turning the region into their own personal domain. When you venture into the Burning Steppes, you're greeted by raggy foothills, scattered boulders, and warring factions that dot the landscape, which is further punctuated by rivers of lava and charred, burning ruins. The sky itself takes on a ruddy hue thanks to the sporadic eruptions from the mighty Blackrock Mountain. The surrounding countryside is home to Blackrock orcs and Firegut ogres, a brittle bunch of cast-offs from the Second War who have no love for the Alliance. And let's not forget the Molten Span, a massive stone bridge that spans a river of fire and leads directly into Modan. Speaking of Blackrock, that infamous orc stronghold from the Second War still stands tall and defiant, and are now controlled by Nefarian and his black dragons, while the Dark Iron Dwarves lurk below. These two groups are locked in constant battle for supremacy. Travelers, the only way to get to northern regions, and for others, it's a challenge they just can't resist. The Badlands is a harsh, barren region located in Modan, bordered by Loch Modan to the north and the Searing Gorge to the west. Its cracked, sun-scorched terrain consists mainly of dry plains surrounded by steep mountains, with the eastern end opening into a vast canyon. This unforgiving environment is home only to the hardiest wildlife, including wild coyotes, mountain cougars, and scavenging buzzards. Navigating the area is a challenge due to frequent sandstorms that obscure landmarks, making a good map, plenty of water, and proper protection from the elements essential for survival, unless you have a mage friend who can make water for you. Despite its geographic location between Stormwind and Dunmorrow, the Badlands has traditionally fallen under Horde influence. However, recent developments have brought a stronger Alliance presence to the region. The Alliance has established a base at Dragon's Mouth in the west, while to the north, the Horde constructed New Kargith after the original outpost of Kargith was destroyed in the Cataclysm by an avalanche. To the east, goblins of the Steamweedle Cartel operate out of the towns of Fuselight and Fuselight by the Sea, offering neutral services and trade. The Black Dragonflight maintains a strong presence in the Badlands, especially around the Leffler Ravine, and more recently, the Dust Bowl. A tribe of ogres can also be found scattered throughout the area, establishing camps across the zone. The western edge of the Badlands features a massive, scorched trench known as the Scar of the Worldbreaker, left behind in the wake of Deathwing's destructive flight during the Cataclysm. In the northeast, nestled near the Loch Modan border, lies Uldaman, a Titan-forged fortress now in ruins. It is home to ancient constructs known as the Earthen, hostile trogs, and secrets about the origins of the dwarves. Nearby, the recently unearthed Tome of the Watchers adds even more intrigue to the region. These sites have become the center of intense competition between the Dwarven Explorers League, the Dark Iron Clan, and the Blood Elven Reliquary, each hoping to claim the Titan artifacts hidden within. The Badlands also carry historical significance. During the Second War, the Blacktooth Grin clan escorted Cho'Gall and his Twilight's Hammer followers through the region to inspect oil operations near Grim Batol. Stormguard warriors, defying the Horde's occupation, attempted to intervene but were ultimately slain. Years later, the Kargith Expeditionary Force, dispatched by War Chief Thrall, set out from the area to eliminate Rend Blackhand and the rogue Blackrock clan. Though the original Kargith outpost would later be lost in the Cataclysm replaced by New Kargith. Today, the Badlands is dotted with dwarven prospectors and members of the Explorers League, as well as goblins from the Steamwheel Cartel. While there are no battlegrounds here, the instanced Dungeon Uldaman is a major draw for adventurers, along with several smaller micro-dungeons scattered throughout the zone. Searing Gorge is a contested zone situated in the southern part of Khaz Modan. Dominated by the Dark Iron Dwarves, particularly a splintered faction known as the Thorium Brotherhood, this bleak, mountainous area is a hub of smelting, mining, and elemental activity, much like how the Blackrock Orcs rule the Burning Steppes. The Dark Irons hold sway over Searing Gorge, bolstered by their war golems and elemental allies. Once a lush valley, the gorge was devastated over 2 centuries ago during the War of the Three Hammers. In a desperate attempt to win the war, Sorcerer Thane Tharison, leader of the Dark Irons, tried to summon a powerful being to aid his forces. Instead, he awoke the Fire Lord Ragnaros, an ancient elemental entity of unimaginable power. Ragnaros' arrival triggered a catastrophic eruption, birthing the volcano known as Blackrock Mountain and transforming the surrounding land into a charred wasteland. The southern region became known as the Burning Steppes, while the northern valley was forever scarred as the Searing Gorge. After establishing their new capital beneath Blackrock Mountain, the Dark Irons sought to expand their dominion and turned their attention to the relatively undefended gorge to the north. With the Bronzebeard clan's forces thin and scattered, the Dark Iron army quickly overwhelmed the region, forcing the Bronzebeards to fall back and seal Stonerot Pass behind them. At the heart of the gorge lies the Cauldron, a massive excavation site where mining is conducted on a massive scale. Beneath it is the Slag Pit, a subterranean mine rich in ores and largely worked by enslaved captives. For many years, the Stonerot Pass remained sealed, patrolled by mountaineer Pelbiddy, patrolled by a mountaineer who refused entry to all travelers. The only viable routes into the gorge were through Blackrock Spire or along the trail from the Badlands near Kargith. Eventually, one adventurer earned access through a unique route, receiving a key to Searing Gorge from Curator Thorius in Ironforge after defeating the infamous Kodo, Margul the Rager, a beast notorious among archaeologists. Following the Cataclysm, the pass was finally reopened, though the mountaineers were still reluctant and guarded the entrance, warning travelers of the dangers ahead. The region has also seen numerous other events. Before the Outland invasion, the Burning Legion briefly invaded the gorge, led by High Lord Cruel. Today, the area remains extremely hazardous and is home to a number of notable figures. At Thorium Point, Hansel Heavy Hands leads the fight against rampaging golems, spiders, and incendosaurs. Master Smith Burnanite enlists trustworthy adventurers in his work with fiery flux, and Velarok Windblade operates from a hidden camp, directing covert strikes against dark iron sentry towers. The Cataclysm also brought dramatic changes to the Searing Gorge. Additionally, a deep chasm has opened between Searing Gorge and Dunmoreau, cutting off direct passage. The elusive Shadow Silk poachers of the Undermarket, once a common sight, no longer patrol the gorge. High in the snow-capped peaks of Modan lies a land of frost, stone, and enduring legacy. This is Dunmoreau, a realm carved from ice and iron, and home to some of Azeroth's most resilient people. Long before the clang of hammers echoed through its mountains, Dunmoreau was ruled by the Frostmane trolls, fierce and territorial, but their dominion would not last. The dwarves, driven by the call of the Titans and the lure of hidden secrets beneath the stone, rose up and claimed these lands as their own. For centuries, the dwarves of Ironforge have called these mountains home, joined by the inventive gnomes of Gnomeregan. The two races forged a deep alliance, one of strength, intellect, and shared purpose. Their unity would be tested during the Second War, when the Orcish horde descended upon Modan, but Ironforge and Gnomeregan stood unbroken, a testament to dwarven grit and gnomish ingenuity. Peace, however, would not last forever. In time, tragedy struck. Gnomeregan fell, not to an external foe, but from within. A catastrophic betrayal that left the gnomes exiled from their own home. Many sought refuge within Ironforge's warm halls, where their bond with the dwarves only grew stronger. Now, a threat rises beneath the snow. The Trogs, primitive and brutal, have emerged from the deep places of the world, threatening the security of these ancient peaks. The hardy folk of Dunmoreau, undeterred by wind or war, have once again taken up arms to defend their homeland. Geographically, Dunmoreau is a land of frozen valleys, glacial lakes, and towering crags. Its heartbeat is Ironforge, a vast subterranean city of molten forges and granite halls, serving as a central hub for the Alliance. To the west lies the ruined Gnomeregan, its doors still echoing with the hopes of those who once thrived there. To young dwarves and gnomes, life begins in Cold Ridge Valley, the protected cradle amid the blizzards where adventurers take their first steps into a wider world. There are no great battlegrounds here, no sprawling raids, only the quiet strength of a people weathered by centuries, unshaken by time. Dunmoreau is more than just a snowy mountain range. It is a testament to survival, to brotherhood, and to the unyielding will of those who refuse to be forgotten. Loch Modan is a large region located east of Dunmoreau in eastern Modan. It's recognized for its moderate climate, an abandoned archaeological dig site, and, until the Cataclysm, the vast lake that once defined the area. Surrounded by steep gray mountains and dotted with pine and birch forests, the region was once dominated by the massive Stone Rot Dam, an unparalleled feat of dwarven engineering. This dam was destroyed during Deathwing's violent emergence into Azeroth, which caused the lake to drain almost entirely and drastically reshaped the landscape. The region has become increasingly dangerous due to hostile trogs awakened by dwarven excavations. These creatures have since taken up residence in makeshift camps and tunnels across the surrounding mountains. In addition, the area is home to aggressive wildlife, marauding kobolds, and the formidable ogres of Mogrosh Stronghold. During the Second War, the Orcish horde overran the region and clashed with Alliance forces. The dwarves of Ironforge eventually reclaimed it, though remnants of the battle, such as shattered catapults and ballistae, can still be found shattered across the drained lake bed and nearby isles, silent testaments to the past. While Loch Modan contains no instanced dungeons or battlegrounds, it does feature the micro-dungeon Mogrosh Stronghold. Due to the lack of an Alliance flight point in the neighboring Badlands, players often travel through Thelsamar and Loch Modan to reach Uldaman, which can be surprising for newer players unprepared for the higher level threats present in what is otherwise a lower level zone. The Cataclysm brought widespread upheaval to Loch Modan. The destruction of the Stonerot Dam caused the loch to dry up nearly completely, and the area formerly inhabited by trogs is now home to a Twilight's Hammer camp. Mogrosh Stronghold is now overshadowed by a massive tower rising from the Twilight Highlands. The dam itself was breached and seized by the Dark Iron Clan. Additionally, a deep chasm now divides Loch Modan from the Badlands, leaving only a steep and treacherous footpath for travelers. Meanwhile, Moosehide Gnolls have taken over the western outskirts near Thelsamar, and various new factions including Murlocs, Gnolls, and Kobolds have begun to form uneasy alliances in the wake of the upheaval. The Dwarven Kingdom of Ironforge faced devastation due to inward fighting, prompting the Wildhammer dwarves to seek a new homeland in the mountains of Grim Batol. They established a new capital there, but during the War of the Three Hammers, the Dark Iron Dwarves launched a fierce invasion, nearly capturing Grim Batol. The Wildhammers managed to repel the invaders at the last moment. Recognizing that their city was no longer safe and was tainted, most of the Wildhammers migrated north to settle in the hinterlands, while some moved to Northuron, near their former home. This migration marked a significant shift in their population and their territorial forces. Following the war, the Ironforged dwarves aimed to maintain strong ties with their Wildhammer clan. To facilitate trade and symbolize their alliance, they constructed the Thandlespan, a bridge connecting Khaz Modan and Lordaeron. This structure served both practical and symbolic purposes, fostering cooperation between the two dwarven factions. The bond between the clans remained vital as they navigated the ongoing threats and conflicts of their world, emphasizing unity despite past divisions. The bridge stood as a testament to their shared heritage and mutual interests. During the Second War, the region near Ironforge and the wetlands became a strategic point for the Horde. Led by figures like Ogrim Doomhammer, the Horde established a port on an island in Barrens Bay, facilitating their invasion efforts while avoiding the defenses of the Alliance. Orc clans such as Bleeding Hollow and Dragonmaw set up operations in the area, which suffered environmental devastation as the orcs and their dragons overhunted and despoiled the land. Many dwarves fled or hid underground to escape the chaos, while others resisted. The Dragonmaw clan, in particular, faced retribution from the Red Dragonflight after their enslavement ended. leading to their downfall and the survival of a few orcs in the mountains. After the Second War, the region was reclaimed and transformed into an alliance stronghold called Menethil Harbor, named in honor of King Tyrannus Menethil II. However, the area continued to be a target for horde attacks, with Draenor-based forces attempting to seize ships to reach the Tome of Sargeras. Grim Batal itself was taken over by the Red Dragonflight, which patrolled the fortress and maintained control over the area. These conflicts underscored the ongoing struggles for dominance in the region and the strategic importance of Grim Batal and its surroundings. The Cataclysm event brought widespread destruction to the Highlands and the surrounding areas. The Twilight Hammer's cult, serving Neltharion and the Old Gods, seized Grim Batal and pushed back the Red Dragonflight forces. The disaster caused massive flooding in the western wetlands and Menethil Harbor, devastating local wildlife and altering the landscape significantly. Once a great highborn city housing some of the most revered night elves of Kalimdor, Vashj'ir was swallowed by the great sea in the sundering and thought to be lost forever. Queen Azshara, formerly a beloved leader of the highborn, escaped death in the depths of the sea when the Well of Eternity imploded. Such salvation came at a great cost, as the queen and many of her fellow highborn were forever transformed into the monstrous Naga, doomed to wander the seas for thousands of years. Their existence mostly remains a mystery to the peoples of modern Azeroth, though the Earthen Ring has learned of Azshara's Naga seizing Vashj'ir for an unknown purpose, as the cries of the elements echo across Azeroth from the abyss. Vashj'ir is an incredible underwater region located off the eastern coast of Modan. Players explore Vashj'ir to stop the evil Naga, a dangerous sea monster race, from taking over Azeroth. The Naga are planning something terrible that could harm the entire world. As players swim through the zone, they learn a story of survival and hope. The journey begins when players are shipwrecked by a creature named Azumot and find themselves in the depths of the ocean. Throughout the zone, players visit places like Kelpthar Forest, Shimmering Expanse, and Abyssal Depths. In the Abyssal Depths, they discover the Abyssal Maw. Located in the Maw is the Throne of the Tides. Using Azumot's power, the Naga plan to invade the throne to steal the Lord of Water Neptulon's powers, deeming them rulers of the seas. A mysterious message from a shipwrecked crew adds to the story. A sailor named Thomas writes about being captured by the Naga and taken to a living prison. He describes strange shells that protect the prison, ruins of night elves, and battles involving Sea Vrykul, frozen warriors, and the Naga. Thomas and others are taken as slaves while some escape the underwater prison. His message warns that the Naga are working on a plan to take control of the realm of Neptulon, the Tide Hunter, who is the master of the waters. The Naga wish to gain immense power from Neptulon's domain, which could upset the balance of the ocean and threaten Azeroth itself. In the end, Vashj'ir's story reveals a hidden world full of danger and hope, where brave heroes stand against the darkness beneath the sea. The Twilight Highlands of Azeroth exemplify the planet's dynamic and tumultuous history, categorized by constant upheaval and shifting allegiances. Situated in the Eastern Kingdoms, this rugged and treacherous region has been a battleground for various races and factions, each leaving their mark on its landscape and lore. The fortress city of Grim Batol symbolizes the Highlands' turbulent past. Once inhabited by Wildhammer dwarves, it was abandoned after a curse from the Dark Iron dwarves rendered it uninhabitable. Later, it became a stronghold for the Red Dragonflight during the Second War, when they were enslaved by the Dragonmaw orcs, fighting fiercely for the Horde. Once the dragons were freed, the Dragonmaw were driven out, but their remnants still linger in the Highlands' wild terrain. Today, the region is contested by the remaining Dragonmaw, the Wildhammer dwarves, dwelling in forested mountain outposts, have maintained a generally friendly relationship with the Alliance, but are increasingly considering alliances with Stormwind and Ironforge. Meanwhile, the Red Dragonflight has suffered recent setbacks, decimated by aggressive black dragons emerging from the petrified obsidian forest, signaling ongoing chaos within dragonkind. Amidst these shifting factions, a new presence has risen: the Twilight's Hammer cult. This fanatical organization has established its headquarters within the Highlands, taking advantage of the natural defenses provided by towering mountain peaks and treacherous black glass beaches. The cult is drawn to the region's elemental power and the dark influence of the old gods, sensing the Highlands as a nexus of apocalyptic potential. Their dark rituals involve summoning volatile elementals and working towards the destruction of Azeroth's civilizations, embodying the chaos that has long defined the Highlands' history. The environment itself reflects this. Fires burn hotter, rains penetrate the earth, and the land seems alive with the stirrings of some ancient colossal being. The native fauna includes griffins, owls, saber-wargs, and deer. These creatures symbolize the wild, untamed nature of the Highlands, which remains resistant to control. Recent events, such as the Legion invasion and the Battle for Azeroth, have further destabilized the region. During the Legion's assault, the Wildhammer clan was scattered, and Twilight dragon eggs were disturbed beneath Grim Batol, hinting at the region's ongoing significance in the grander conflicts threatening Azeroth. The presence of Twilight Dragonkin and the threat of their Dark Masters continue to threaten the fragile balance of power in the Highlands. In conclusion, the Twilight Highlands stand as a testament to Azeroth's ever-changing and chaotic nature. From ancient curses and dragon wars to cultist fanatics and demonic invasions, the region embodies the perpetual struggle for power, survival, and meaning in a world where change is the only constant. The Arathi Highlands, located in southeastern Lordaeron, is a region steeped in history and significance. Once the heartland of the human empire of Arathor, the Highlands are named after this ancient civilization, which was founded by King Thoradin around 2800 BDP, before the Dark Portal. Thoradin's vision was to create a prosperous land where humans could thrive, shielded from their enemies by natural terrain and a great wall. This area served as a crucial buffer zone against the Amani trolls and was central to early human development, marking it as a birthplace of human civilization in Azeroth. The Highlands were the site of the powerful empire of Arathor, which united numerous human tribes and established Strom, the first human capital. During the Troll Wars, the region was pivotal in human to elven relations, and the expansion of Arathor across the Eastern Kingdoms. Over time, as the empire fragmented into smaller city-states, Strom's influence waned, and its noble families migrated north to establish what would become Stormwind. The region's mountainous terrain and limited resources contribute to its decline, transferring Stromgarde into a separate nation and leaving the Highlands as a frontier zone with a rich history. Throughout various wars, the Highlands experienced upheaval and destruction. During the Second War, Stromgarde, led by Thoris Trollbane, played a vital role in the Alliance's efforts, but the region was eventually overrun by the Horde. The subsequent conflicts saw the region change hands multiple times, with the Horde establishing camps and the Alliance fighting to reclaim their former territories. The Third War further devastated Stromgarde, leading to the rise of factions like the Syndicate, Ogres, and Trolls. These battles left the Highlands as a contested and war-torn landscape. Recently, the Highlands have continued to be a battleground for power struggles. During the Cataclysm, the region largely remained unaffected, but new conflicts emerged with the Horde and Forsaken seeking to expand their influence. The Legion expansion saw attempts by undead forces to control Stromgarde, while political intrigue such as the tragic Forsaken Gathering added depth to its history. The battle for Azeroth marked a significant turning point, the region serving as a key front between the Alliance and the Horde. The Alliance ultimately secured victory, rebuilding Stromgarde Keep and establishing dominance, though the region remains a symbol of ongoing strife and resilience. Overall, the Arathi Highlands are a region of profound historical importance and strategic significance. From their origins as the heart of Arathor to their role in the countless wars that have shaped Azeroth, the Highlands embody the themes of empire, conflict, and resilience. Their rugged terrain and storied past continue to influence the storyline of Warcraft. The Wildhammer Dwarves of Airy Peak are notable for their fierce loyalty to the Alliance and their deep bond with the griffins they tame and ride into battle. Living in the rugged mountains of the hinterlands, they adopted shamanistic practices, forging a spiritual connection with nature and spirits. Their strongholds served as strategic bases during major conflicts, including the Second and Third Wars, where they fought alongside the Alliance against Horde invasions and other threats. The Wildhammer's independence and their mastery of griffin riding symbolize their unique culture and vital contribution to the ongoing defenses of the region. The Hinterlands hosts one of the last High Elf settlements at Quell Danil Lodge. These High Elves are descendants of noble civilizations rich in arcane knowledge and magical tradition. Their presence in the region underscores their efforts to preserve their culture and maintain the natural and arcane balance amidst ongoing conflicts. The High Elves serve as guardians of ancient secrets and continue to play a crucial role in the region's spiritual and magical heritage. Several forest troll tribes call the Hinterlands home. Each tribe has its own distinct culture and varying relations with the ongoing Horde Alliance conflicts. The Reventusk generally align with the Horde, while the Vilebranch and Witherbark often maintain more complex, sometimes hostile relations with other factions. These tribes have endured for generations, upholding shamanistic traditions and fighting to protect their sacred lands against invading forces. The Great Tree, planted from Nordrassil's branch, stands as a symbol of hope and renewal. It was cultivated by followers of Fandrel Staghelm to counteract the Serenite corruption seeping from the depths of the land. This tree is intimately connected to the Emerald Dream, a vast spiritual realm that mirrors Azeroth's natural essence, overseen by the green dragonflight. Green dragons like Rothos and Dreamtracker called this forest home, patrolling as green dragon spawn guarding the balance of nature. Thank you for exploring the rich history and diverse cultures and secrets of the hinterlands and its surrounding areas. These lands stand as a testament to resilience, unity, and the enduring struggle for harmony in Azeroth. The Hillsbrad Foothills, also known as the Hillsbrad Plains, is a tumultuous region located within the former kingdom of Lordaeron on Azeroth. This expansive land, characterized by its picturesque landscape, has long been a battleground for various factions, reflecting its strategic importance in Warcraft lore. Hillsbrad was part of the Kingdom of Lordaeron and remained largely untouched by the Scourge during the initial stages of the Undead Plague. The region has endured relentless conflict, especially during the rise of the Forsaken, a faction of undead, forsaking their former masters to establish dominance in the area. The Forsaken have maintained strongholds in Terran Mill, the region's largest settlements, and in the ominous sludge fields, where dark experiments are conducted. Their expansion has driven humans from Southshore to Fenris Keep and Silverpine Forest, leaving the town devastated by the new plague, which further exemplifies the region's suffering and strategic importance. The conflict in Hillsbrad intensified following the Cataclysm, a catastrophic event that reshaped Azeroth's geography and politics. The Alliance lost its major holdings in the region, including Dungorok and Southshore, due to their Forsaken invasion and spread of plagues. Despite setbacks, the Stormpike Dwarf clan mounted a significant counterattack from the Alterac Mountains, although their efforts were thwarted by Horde heroes, illustrating the ongoing struggle for control. During the Third War, the region became a key battleground, with the Horde, under Thrall's command, relocating to Kalimdor after skirmishes with Alliance forces, and the freeing of notable figures like Grommash Hellscream. Throughout its history, Hillsbrad has been a focal point of major warfare. During the Second War, orcs raided coastal towns and the fledgling Alliance established outposts to defend the region. Important battles occurred in towns such as Southshore and Terran Mill, with significant events like Orgrim Doomhammer's raid on Durnhold Keep. The region's geography encompasses the Alterac Mountains, Ungoro Crater, and Stranbrad, with sites like the ruins of Alterac and the former city of Dalaran bearing witness to the region's violent history. In summary, Hillsbrad Foothills is a region emblematic of Azeroth's enduring conflict. Its rich history of warfare, invasions, and strategic importance underscores its role as a pivotal battleground where alliances are tested and histories are forged. Located on a peninsula in the Eastern Kingdoms, Gilneas was once a thriving human kingdom, distinguished by its proud independence and the construction of the formidable Greymane Wall, which separated it from its northern neighbors in Silverpine Forest. This wall was built under King Gin Greymane's orders prior to the Third War, serving as a defensive border to protect Gilneas from external threats and invasions. Gilneas' origin traces back over 2,800 years when it was outside the boundaries of the Arathor Empire, only later becoming a human city-state after Arathor expanded into the region following conflicts with Amani trolls. Some Gilneans eventually migrated across the sea to settle in Kul Tiris, highlighting their seafaring and independent spirit. Over time, Gilneas developed its own identity, separate from the larger human kingdoms. The cataclysmic events of the Third War dramatically altered Gilneas' fate, During the invasion of the region, the land was overrun by Forsaken, and the prince and heir Liam Greymane was killed. The surviving Gilneans evacuated into the Night Elven lands, while the city itself fell into ruin. This period marked the beginning of Gilneas' status as a contested and fractured territory, caught between the ambitions of the Horde and the Alliance. The conflict saw the Forsaken, under Sylvanas Windrunner, attempt to establish a foothold, while the Alliance, led by Gin Greymane, sought to reclaim and restore their homeland. The ensuing battles were fierce and destructive. The Gilnean Liberation Front, supported by the Alliance's 7 Legion and the Bloodfang Pack, fought to push back Forsaken forces, culminating in the destruction of their fleet and the retreat of Horde forces from the region. Despite these victories, Gilneas remained unstable. Darius Crowley, leader of the Liberation Front, launched a final offensive into Silverpine Forest to reclaim more territory, but Sylvanas captured his daughter, Lorna Crowley, forcing him to retreat in a bid to save her. The betrayal by Vincent Godfrey, a longtime Gilnean insurgent, inadvertently saved the Alliance from losing Gilneas entirely, as Sylvanas was weakened and unable to continue her assault. In the years following, Gilneas' political and territorial status became increasingly murky. The region suffered from ongoing conflict with Forsaken naval incursions and attempts by the Horde to re-establish dominance. An insidious Black Dragonflight agent, Hiram Creed, infiltrated Gilneas City, attempting to manipulate the Gilneans into serving his draconic ambitions. But he was ultimately killed by an Alliance-backed assassin. The aftermath of these events left Gilneas in a state of limbo, abandoned, heavily blighted, or occupied by various factions with shifting allegiances. Gilneas' status remains ambiguous and inconsistent. It is described as a land of ruins, a battleground, or a territory still contested, with no clear resolution. Some narratives suggest that the Forsaken have withdrawn their forces, while others imply ongoing skirmishes and strategic battles over its coastline in key locations like Shadowfang Keep. The region's future remains uncertain, with references to potential reclamation efforts and political negotiations, but no definitive conclusion. In essence, Gilneas embodies the enduring struggles of sovereignty, identity, and survival. Its history is a tapestry of resilience and conflict shaped by external invasions, internal divisions, and the relentless tide of war that characterizes Azeroth's broader narrative. Tirisfal Glade is a dark and eerie region located on the northern coast of Lordaeron, known for its haunting beauty and tumultuous history. Named after the Titan Keeper Tyr, whose fall is memorialized in the land's name, Tirisfal, meaning Tyr's Fall. The area is marked by a perpetual gloomy sky and blighted flora, remnants of the Lich King's cursed plague. Once a land of spiritual conflict between the energies of Tyr and his enemy Zakaz, Tirisfal was also a battleground where the Vrykul warriors once settled and where humanity first emerged amidst their legends and fears. Throughout its history, Tirisfal has been central to various factions and events. It was a refuge and battleground for the Forsaken, the undead remnants of Lordaeron, who established their stronghold in the ruins of the city after the Third War. The region also hosts the Scarlet Crusade, a fanatical group dedicated to eradicating undead and non-humans, and remains heavily contested between the Alliance and Horde following the fall of Lordaeron. During a conflict involving the Titan Keeper Tyr, he sacrificed himself fighting the dark forces of Zakaj and Kithix in Tirisfal, leaving behind a memorial marked by his giant silver hand. This event, along with the Vrykul warriors' reverence for Tyr, shaped the region's identity. The Vrykul, who once inhabited Tirisfal, eventually died out or transformed over time, giving rise to humans fleeing from the cursed Vrykul and establishing their own tribes. In ancient times, Tirisfal was also where the highborn, later High Elves fled exile from Kalimdor, forming settlements amidst primitive humans. Over millennia, the region saw the rise of the human kingdom of Erethdor and later Lordaeron, a thriving land that was eventually devastated during the Troll Wars and later by the Scourge during the Third War. Arthas Menethal's invasion turned Tirisfal into a land of death and undeath, with many settlements raised as part of the undead Scourge. With notable sites such as the Agamon Mills and the sacred shrines where King Thoradin once performed rituals to unite the tribes, the region's strategic importance persisted through history. It served as a seat of power for the Council of Tirisfal, who fought against demonic forces of the Burning Legion, and was the birthplace of prominent figures like Thoradin and the early leaders of the human races. In modern times, Tirisfal is the heartland of the Forsaken, who have claimed the ruins of Lordaeron for their own after rebelling against the Lich King and the Scourge. The area is dotted with remnants of old conflicts, abandoned farms, watchtowers, and the scarred landscape, serving as a reminder of its turbulent and remorseful past. Despite its desolation, Tirisfal remains a land of legend and significance, representing the enduring struggle between life, death, and the shadows of history. Silverpine Forest, located just south of Tirisfal Glade, is a dark and shadowy region full of decay. It serves as a crucial link between the two zones, both geographically and lore-wise, as it acts as a corridor for the Forsaken and other dark forces moving between the two areas. Lore-wise, Silverpine Forest was once a lush, peaceful woodland, but it was corrupted by the Scourge during the Third War, turning it into a haunted battleground filled with undead and twisted creatures. The connection between Silverpine and Tirisfal Glade highlights the ongoing struggle of the Forsaken to reclaim and stabilize their homeland amidst the encroaching darkness. The Western Plaguelands, located in northern Lordaeron, are a region scarred by the devastating effects of the Scourge invasion during the fall of Lordaeron, bound by the Tirisfal Glades to the west, the Eastern Plaguelands to the east, and the Alterac Mountains to the south. This area was once lush farmland and forests, but now lies largely desolate and corrupted. Despite the widespread devastation, the Western Plaguelands are in relatively better condition than their eastern counterparts, thanks in part to the efforts by the Cenarian Circle during the Cataclysm to restore the land. Historically, the region was a vital agricultural hub centered around towns like Hearthglen and Anderhall. The latter was targeted early in the plague spread when necromancer Kel Thazad infected its grain supplies to propagate the undead plague. As Lordaeron fell into chaos, the land turned into a wasteland of dead trees and tainted soil. With the Scourge establishing strongholds such as Caer Daro and the Scholomance, an infamous necromancer school beneath Caer Daro, under the control of dark forces like Dark Master Gandling. Various factions have vied for control over the region. The Scarlet Crusade, a fanatical group dedicated to eradicating the undead, once held key positions like Mardenhold Keep and Hearthglen. However, their efforts were marred by fanaticism and internal strife, and they failed to stem the tide of undeath entirely. The Argent Crusade, led by Tyrion Fordring, has since reclaimed Hearthglen and established it as a base for their operations against the Scourge. The Crusade continues to actively combat undead remnants and maintain a presence in the area. while also grappling with the lingering influence of necromantic forces. The region's history is marked by tragic battles, such as the Battle for Anderhall, where the Forsaken, under Sylvanus Windrunner, eventually seized control, ending Scourge dominance there. Despite the devastation, efforts to rebuild and purify the land persist, with the Cenarian Circle playing a vital role in healing the environment. The Western Plaguelands remain a battleground between the forces of life and undeath, symbolizing the ongoing struggle to restore this fallen land to its former vitality. Despite the ongoing conflict, the Western Plaguelands hold a deeper significance as a symbol of resilience and hope. Key figures like Tyrion Fordring and the remnants of the Argent Crusade exemplify the persistent effort to reclaim and restore the land from the grip of undead corruption. As they continue their fight, the region also serves as a reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked evil and the importance of heroism and perseverance. Over time, with dedicated efforts from both the Crusade and environmental restoration groups like the Cenarian Circle, there is a cautious optimism that the land will eventually heal, allowing life to flourish once more and marking a step toward redemption for the scarred landscape. A once peaceful region known as Eastweld, the Eastern Plaguelands were home to thriving farms and villages. The city of Stratholme, Lordaeron's second largest, stood proudly at its heart during the Second War when the Old Horde attacked the elven kingdom of Cael'Thalas. A rogue band of orcs destroyed the town of Blackwood, foreshadowing darker days ahead. During the Third War, the undead scourge began spreading a horrific plague. Prince Arthas discovered the infection in Stratholme and, against Uther's will, slaughtered its citizens to stop the spread. It was a turning point, one that led him to become a Death Knight and destroy the kingdom he once swore to protect. Resistance proved futile, and Darroshire defenders like Davil Crockford and Captain Redpath fell heroically. Although Redpath was resurrected and turned on his own people, leading to the town's destruction from the ashes, a crusade was born. Alexandros Morgraine led former knights in and reclaiming lands from the scourge. But his death fractured the movement, splintering into groups like the Argent Dawn and Scarlet Crusade, both fighting for control of the blighted land over Stratholme. Kel'Thuzad's fortress, Naxxramas, loomed over the area, his power unchecked until a bold assault by the Argent Dawn weakened him. The defeated Kel'Thuzad escaped and the citadel vanished. With the wrath of the Lich King, a new threat emerged: Death Knights from Archerus the Ebonhold. From here, they destroyed towns like New Avalon and Havenshire in the Scarlet Enclave, until breaking free from the Lich King's grasps. After the Cataclysm, hope returned. The Argent Crusade and Cenarian Circle began healing the land. Tyr's Hand and Hearthglen were reclaimed. The plague receded and rivers flowed once more. Eversong Forest, once a lush woodland with trees bearing golden leaves, stretched from the southern borders of Cael'Thalas to Silvermoon. The High Elves, known as the Highborn, claimed the land after battles with native Amani trolls, building the city of Silvermoon at its northern edge. They integrated their architecture into the natural landscape and enchanted the region to maintain an eternal spring, symbolizing renewal. For over 7,000 years, Eversong remained a peaceful and beautiful land, despite occasional conflicts with trolls. During the Second War, The red dragonflight set parts of the forest ablaze, causing destruction, though Silvermoon's defenses held strong, and the elves quickly responded to the threats. Today, what was once a unified Eversong forest is now divided into two regions, the northern Eversong woods and the southern Ghostlands. The Ghostlands, scarred by war and decay, serve as a battleground where blood elves and their allies fight to reclaim their homeland from the lingering undead scourge. The region is filled with haunted forests, restless spirits, and undead horrors, remnants of the brutal conflicts that have scarred the land. Blood elves, reinforced by forsaken allies and other forces, work tirelessly to restore order by reclaiming fallen towns, battling Amani trolls, and seeking justice for past betrayals, including the notorious Darkon Drathir. Efforts to free the Ghostlands from the undead have seen significant progress, especially after the death of Darkon and the defeat of Zul'jin, the Armani warlord. Key locations such as Tranquillin, Farstrider Enclave, and the Sanctum of the Sun have been reclaimed and fortified. Despite these victories, the undead still hold a strong presence in the region, and the fight for the Ghostlands remains ongoing. The vigilant Farstriders, aided by the Sun Fury and Forsaken forces, continue their struggle to hold the land and push back the undead threat, symbolizing the enduring resilience of the Blood Elves. Eversong Forest and its surrounding lands tell a story of beauty and perseverance. From its origins as a peaceful elven sanctuary to its current state as a war-torn battleground, the region reflects the ongoing struggles of its inhabitants to preserve their homeland.